Okay. Itam existiko good day. It is the afternoon of Sunday, December 15th, 2019, in the lunar cycle Itchaneko Kotoini tests when the rivers freeze over. But as you can see here at the Alexander Wilderness Park in Sikuhkotok, the rivers have not frozen over as yet. We'll find out what happens later this season. This is my first year on this side of town and spending so much time at this park, but my kind of understanding of it is that there's always going to be a good strip of open water here, which the animals of course enjoy, and so I'm going to enjoy observing as well. Anyway, I am out here for my Sunday worship of sorts. I didn't have a walk and talk this morning at Spopikami. My one kind of committed partner / student out there, she did the bird count yesterday as well, and so was burnt out, wanted to stay home this morning. That was fine by me. I was ready to just sit and have coffee and be an internet warrior for a little bit as well. And then which I was, to my embarrassment in a way. I gotta learn sometimes when I see a post that I disagree with, I gotta learn to just say this post triggers me in terrible ways, and just leave it like that, rather than starting fights with people online. It's ridiculous. Not that I do it all the time. I'm just saying that I had an experience this morning that I kind of regret. Not that I was wrong, but I wish I had handled it differently. I don't know. It was a provoking post, though. It was a purposely provoking post. So what can I say except I took the bait? Anyhow, I didn't go out this morning. I just sat around indoors, had some coffee, relaxed a bit. And now in the afternoon, I'm just getting my feet under me. Late last night, or rather last night I should say, Chelsea got off around 7 o'clock from work, went over to her parents' house to visit with their sisters, and was going to head home around maybe 9. But on the way, ended up with a flat tire. She called AMA. AMA sent someone out, but they got broke down on the way. Didn't bother notifying Chelsea. Don't know why, but long story short, she didn't get home till 1 o'clock at night with a donut on her car and the good tire in the trunk. So my main task for the day, so to speak, is to go get that flat repaired and then get it on her car when she gets home this evening or even in the morning, but get it back on her car. And with that being pretty much all that I've got to do today, of course I got to get outside. So I'm going to take a little walk here, see what's new, what catches my eye, and we'll go from there. You may recall from my almost daily reminders that we had a strange weather occurrence this year where we had a deep freeze and heavy snow a whole lunar cycle earlier than expected, and a lot of the trees, almost all the trees in fact, still had their green leaves on them. They were flash frozen and they fell green, and a lot of damage occurred where, well, you could say damage, what have you, but the trees cracked, out of the weight of the snow and the depth of the freeze. The trees cracked, and you have a lot of broken trees as a result. And one of the things that I've noticed out here along the river anyway is that wherever there's one of these broken trees, animals have been making use of it. First of all, the beavers, right? So you have, anywhere there's a low hanging branch, the beavers have done some work to trim pieces off, haul away what they could, And I see this over and over again, pretty much everywhere where a branch goes all the way, a branch or a trunk goes all the way to the ground, the beavers have harvested it. But they're not the only ones. The other thing I notice is that, well, here, this is kind of a flood canal, but it provides a bit of a natural protection for deer moving through it. And so I run into a lot of deer in these flood canals in the forest. And you can see they just use these pathways. But where the deer have come across these trees, they've gnawed off the budding tips where they can reach them. Okay, so all of these tips that are within easy deer reach are gnawed off. You get a little bit higher than the deer when they have to raise their necks and stuff, and you get buds again. These buds, really any kind of poplar bud, these buds are quite world famous for their qualities, especially from trees that have broken and fallen in early winter like this. They have this resin on them, and that resin can be utilized in various ways, as an antifungal, as an anti-inflammatory, or antibacterial, I should say, not anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, but also as a mild painkiller. And it's used in cough relief. It's used in treatment of small wounds and stuff. It is, the North American ingredient that could be used to produce something like the biblical balm of Gilead. And I'm going to do a little experiment. I really hate the taste of this resin. I've experimented with it before. I've made kind of tincture oils and stuff like that. But I'm going to harvest some of these today and make a tea and see how a tea made with these buds affects my cough, because I have been suffering kind of a bit of a cough. So yeah, I'm gonna try that out. Got my little impromptu harvesting bag here that I carry in my backpack, but of course it can clip on the belt. Okay. Fold out bag, not unlike the one that I included in the recent mystery boxes. So yeah, in this case I'm gonna fit it around my palm and go to work on this tree. Well, I pulled most of what I could reach. Good amount of buds. I'll definitely be able to do my experiment, if not more. And I think as I continue on today, I'll look for other opportunities like that and continue the harvest from what I see. Just that little harvest, just that little bit, and I feel kind of satisfied that I've done something worthwhile this afternoon. I've participated in being human, in a sense, because I think it's our role, hey, to pick those buds that we can reach. And it's telling that I can come out here, 2 months after those trees dropped, and the buds that are reachable to us had not been harvested yet by any human, including myself. I'm just noticing up here there are a lot of duck tracks, or goose tracks probably. Yeah, no doubt goose. All over the embankment here. Looks like they have been probably up here harvesting the crested wheatgrass and whatever else they can get. So, going to continue on the way here. The swans. I did not see the swans back that way by the rapids as I came in. A lot of birds left as I came in, so it's hard to say. They might have flew upstream, but I didn't see them. So I'm going to check downstream. They were not observed on count day yesterday. So it was kind of a lucky thing that I pointed them out a few days before count week, and that John Nightingale got out there and photographed them and confirmed them during count week. But it doesn't seem as though they've been seen since. So I don't know. I'll check the other side, the downstream side here, but maybe they did get a lot of attention. Maybe they got a bunch of cameras on them and decided to go elsewhere. Oh, I think we got another porcupine over this way. Let's go check it out. Oh yes, a familiar angle. The butt. Always showing me the butt, these porcupines. Let's head around this way. See if we can get another angle on him. Watch as he turns. It's kind of a cool area. A lot of flotsam debris. Forms kind of a wall, almost. A little bit of a hidden nook down here where it appears there's some deer activity, perhaps. What all's going on here? Oh no, rabbits. Rabbits. That makes sense. There must be a lot of rabbits living in this ring of debris. Let's see. Geitskap. Okay. Finally, a decent angle without just the butt. I appreciate that. Itam exists go. So this guy is feeding on something on these young poplar trees. I can see here he's taking a nibble out of the bark, but up where he's at, I don't know if he's eating the bark or not. See if we can get maybe another angle. Oh yeah, you can see there right below his front arm, in his armpit there, it's a couple of patches of bare bark. So he is eating bark, not buds, which is what I wanted to know. And different from the porcupines yesterday, in areas where there's more bullberries available, they seem to be interested in the bullberries, but down here at Alexander Wilderness Park, there's not so many of those. Very cool. Just experimenting a little bit while moving around the flotsam barrier to check out that porcupine from the other side. I came across a branch that had fallen recently, and the buds had not yet been discovered by the deer. And so it was a branch of one of these, younger trees in here. And I pulled the buds off. This is about half of them here. See if I can get in the sunlight and show you better. Whoop. There is a bit of resin on them. Not as strong or as thick a coat as on some of those more mature tree buds that I got back that way. But I took about half of, this is about half of what I took off of that fallen branch. The other half are in my mouth. And I've tried before picking these off of kind of live saplings and stuff and eating them as the deer do. And it's just terrible. Just a terrible taste, a terrible experience. And your mouth doesn't feel the same for a long time after. And I may be having that same experience this afternoon. We'll wait and see. It's not there yet, but I do have kind of like a glob of this stuff, and I'm letting my mouth, rather than using my teeth, I'm just letting my saliva do some work and maybe pull some of that resin off of the buds. I might end up, just spitting out the buds and experiment with that. Hey, what if you just suck on these buds as a kind of a cough drop? I haven't been coughing on camera, of course, but in waves I've been having this pretty bad cough. So I'm gonna suck on these and I'll kind of relay how it goes. Probably 10 minutes into the experiment now, and the response has been, I don't know what to compare it to. When you put a fresh stick of gum in your mouth and it's just explosive with the chemical flavor that it has in it, and for that first 5-10 minutes or so you're getting all of that, and then slowly it just kind of fades to gum. In a sense, my first 10 minutes here have been like that, except the fade is not gone yet, and the taste is not anything that would be welcoming. It's kind of like getting a dose of battery acid or something. I don't know what to compare it to, but the sense in the mouth is that this is something I don't want to be eating, right? Which may be appropriate for medicine. That's the ultimate experiment, is how is this going to affect my breathing or cough and stuff for maybe the next hour or so, because for sure I should have a couple of coughing fits off camera in the next hour. But what if I'm sucking on these? Will that happen? We're gonna find out. But taste-wise, it's brutal. It's brutal. I thought that by not chewing, I would avoid getting the resin on my teeth. That resin just moves all around the mouth and seems to enjoy settling on the teeth most. But the tongue is not unaffected either. The tongue is kind of like almost numbish, as if I'd eaten cloves, you know, that kind of numbish. I don't know, more later. Let's go check out, see if there's any geese out this way. Swans too. Not too many birds out here in general, actually. No sign of the swans. Unfortunately, I just have my iPhone at the moment, but here goes an eagle. And this eagle was disturbed by me, I believe, even though he's landing perhaps no further. Yeah, he's gonna land right over there. Originally, he's way out at the big tree back there at the end, where you can see there are still a couple of more birds, probably other eagles. In fact, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that I'll be able to get a closer look at them, but I'll go up this ways and we'll see. Yeah, I can confirm straight away. In that tree over there, there are 2 adult, 2 mature, and 1 juvenile bald eagle. Probably a family. I'm going to see if my Sony Handycam has withstood just the cold of the walk without ever having powered up yet. It's kind of a warm day today. We got some juice. I'm gonna see if we can get some footage. I've moved up even closer, and I'm gonna give you pretty much the best look at these eagles that I can give with the equipment I currently own from this distance. It's a long ways off. Yeah, they're quite a ways from me, but you should be able to get a sense of what I'm seeing now. The 3 members of the family up there on the treetop. Just where the river turns around these cliffs, so birds are kind of shielded in. You know, any birds on that stretch of the river are blocked from escape in one sense by those cliffs, and don't think the eagles aren't using that to their advantage. It's another one of those collapsed trees, and some more buds for me to gather. But I thought this one was good too, because it showed the porcupines in on the gathering as well, getting what he can from the resources that have already been falling. So it's a salvager's world out there, and I am gonna take some more of these. How far along are we in the experiment now? 2:42, so I am solidly, I would say, 50 minutes into this, because I started timing myself maybe 10 minutes after I already took them, and that was at 2 o'clock, so it's 2:42. Any case, I can say that so far these buds are working better than some of the dime store staples, you know, Fisherman's Friend, Hall's, all those guys. What was that? What's that one, the old-fashioned one, like the licorice flavor, Lud, they don't sell them up here in Canada, but my mom used to buy them. For some reason, I'm thinking Ludwig. But all those like regular cough drops, these are so far better. Given they don't dissolve, I'm still sucking on it. I'm still getting effects from it 50 minutes later. So it's a long-lasting cough drop. The effects aren't nearly what they were. I've started to get some unfurling of the buds, just kind of the outer peel of the bud coming off, but it hasn't been much. Once that starts happening, if it happens like in mass, I'm gonna ditch this stuff. And if it gets to the point where I don't feel any effect in my mouth from it, like the medicine is played out, then I'm gonna ditch the stuff. But right now the experiment is, let's leave it in for as long as it's lasting and see how long I can go without coughing. I didn't even cough once, no less having a coughing fit. Not once. So far so good. I'm going to pick the rest of these buds because I plan on not coughing for as long as I can. And then we're getting out of here. Gotta go fix that tire. Another 10 minutes in and almost back to the vehicle. I couldn't resist. I kind of gave a little chew on a couple of the buds just to open them up a bit. Released another whole bunch of flavor. So I think these can be taken very slowly as a long-term cough drop. Whoa. Yeah, there's a cooling. It's almost like a menthol effect, or like I said, like cloves. Like, what was that old-fashioned gum? Beckman's wasn't the one. It might have been called cloves, but it's quite a strong flavor that almost gave you a numbing sensation. That's what it's like, and I get like a heat rising, and it's interesting. It's interesting, you know. Pretty much a full hour in, and not a cough, which makes me happy. Alright, 2 hours into the natural cough drop experiment, and I still have not coughed, and not really even had an inclination to. I just spit my buds out. I probably could have continued sucking on them for another hour, but I was at Save On Food here, and I bought some chicken wings to eat. First real meal of the day of any significance. Look at that. 3 different flavors. Gonna munch on some of that, and I brought Chelsea's tire to Canadian Tire to get fixed, but it's in need of more than just a flat repair. I gotta go see if I can find a used or new tire, because look at this. This rims, Canadian Tire refused to even deal with it because there's threads almost all the way around the rim. So the sucker's gonna blow. Better check her other tire too, but definitely needs to be replaced, not just repaired. So we'll see what we can find. Alright, I'm back home now. It's 4:20 in the afternoon and I just coughed. This is my first cough in almost probably two and a half hours. And a half hour after spitting out my buds, and I don't feel any kind of cough attack coming on or anything like that, so they work pretty good if you're willing to deal with the terrible taste. I just fed Polly. I'm finishing up my dinner. I gave him part of a roast chicken, and I've got some meal prep work to do here at the house. I think what we're gonna do about the tires is probably tomorrow Chelsea will take my Jeep to work. I'll take her car to work since I stay in town, and at some point during the day I'll get her car over to one of the tire shops and get her a couple of new tires. Yeah, that's pretty much what has to be done. So despite the Christmas season, there's always expenses that jump in there, and I don't think it'll be too bad for those little tires, but we'll see. Any case, food prep for the week, maybe for the next few days. I don't know how long it'll last, but I picked up a couple of inexpensive chicken breasts, $4 off, some kind of pesto something or another chicken breast. Probably about to go bad. I don't mind. I'll cook it up. Couple of things of regular ground beef, the cheap stuff with all the fat, and some taco seasoning, because I can't get enough tacos, so I'm just gonna make a bunch of taco meat. I already got an open can of frijoles in the fridge, so I'll be carrying some tacos with me this week, and free run chicken eggs gonna boil up. So those will be breakfast slash lunch, my brunch, my kind of, when I start getting my food craving, go for a couple of the eggs. Then we'll see, maybe a little bit of, like I like to buy my fruit and stuff, you know. I like to just walk over at the fruit stand and get what's inexpensive for the day. But yeah, a couple of eggs to begin with, and then maybe tacos or chicken breasts in the afternoon, something like that. So gonna do some food prep. It's early still, you know, 4:20. So I don't know what else might happen today, but this is probably gonna be the end of the video. We'll see. Hello.
Good evening, this is Kelly from Vivint on a recorded line. I received a fire alarm from the smoke detector. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just really bad at cooking dinner.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's no fire there. May I have your name and I can mark that smoke detector down as a false alarm today?
Which is the detector? I think that's it, right? Holy smokes. Are we done? Are we done? Whatever. Shut up. Jesus, this thing.
Fire, smoke, detector.
There's no fire, smoke. Enough. We already dealt with it. Are we done? Ryan cooking.